Brendan, how were the celebrations after Wednesday night? I was there when you were back at the stadium. Fantastic, with thousands of fans there. How do you reflect on all of that?
Yeah, well, it's a really special time, of course, when you win a title and you win it in the way that we have done. It was a great performance on Wednesday night. Everything I'd want in the team and how we played, and then obviously that chance to celebrate with the supporters was really special. So yeah, it was a great evening.
How are the celebrations for you personally? Are you saving it for this Saturday? Are you saving it for after the cup final?
Yeah, no, we had a couple of wee drinks afterwards. Went home, watched the game again. Went to bed about 20 to 4. So it was it was a long night, but a great night, and that's what football's about. It's been a season full of ups and downs, and but ultimately we came good when it matters, and I think now you're starting to see the real Celtic, probably what maybe people wanted to see at the beginning of the season, but we weren't quite at that level then for various reasons, but we certainly have been this last couple of months, just building towards this period of the season, and that's the most important bit.
How much are you looking forward to tomorrow, and what do you expect the atmosphere to be like?
I think it'll be amazing. It's sometimes you can win these titles a bit of time away, and then by the time you get to trophy day, it's still a special day, but it feels as if you won the league maybe earlier. I think this I think will make it extra special with having clinched it on Wednesday, then not so long then to have to wait for the game. But I always like us to play well in this moment. It's a celebration, of course, but it's still, we've still got 3 points to play for and finish the season on a real high.
When you went back, Brendan, after the celebrations and watched the game back, did it just bring back all those emotions and stuff of just how special it really was? Did it sort of sink in then at that point that just how special a night and an occasion that was for everyone?
Yeah, it was, because I've said it before, we play and work for the supporters, and they're absolutely unrivaled. It's, if you think we're in a little town in Scotland and in Kilmarnock, and those players, some of them may go on and play for other clubs, and I've been able to manage other clubs and another huge club in Liverpool. But there's not many clubs you will get that either after the game, on the field, and then coming away and having that at the stadium. That is what makes this club so unique. There's a big demand here, there's a big expectation, there's a massive pressure, and that's why I always say it's never an easy job. But nights like that and moments like that really make it worthwhile, and the scenes after the game and at the stadium are special, and I think tomorrow as well it'll be extra special as well. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
I know you've touched on it as well, but how do you sit back now as champions and reflect on your own personal journey since you came in July to where you are now? How do you reflect on what kind of year it's been like for you personally as the manager?
Yeah, listen, I'm not made of wood. We all have feelings, and we're all obviously built in different ways. I feel that I can deal with pressure and those situations, but it still doesn't make you immune to everything. But I think what experience has given me is not to become too emotional with words, and there's been lots of that. I can trace back to August, whenever the headlines were around, I'm under massive pressure, and this was on the 26th of August. So, and that has continued right the way through. Various people having their say, and that's the modern world and this game. But for me, there was, I had to show a mental strength like the team has had to do, and eventually the work that we do, the processes that we have in place, have come through in the end, and that's why we create habits every single day so that it becomes us. And for me, it's no different. It's been a challenging season in ways that I didn't think it would be. I knew it was going to be a little bit awkward and a little bit of a feeling coming back, which I totally get. But one or two things surprised me, which as I said, you have to deal with them the best you can. But ultimately, I'm paid here to win and to develop a team to play in the way the fans want them to play. And I think, obviously, this last period we can see that now.
You mentioned before, you've returned obviously a more decorated, a more experienced manager since you were here the first time as well. I just wonder, in all the years you've been a manager, how testing, how sort of tough this spell was when you were, rightly or wrongly, being questioned over tactics, style of play, pressure or whatnot. How tough was that? Is that how you would describe it, as tough, as one of the toughest?
No, it's a challenge that's there. I think on a day-to-day basis, no. I drive up in here into work every morning absolutely full of joy. I love my life as a professional manager. I absolutely adore working with this group of players and the staff here at Celtic. The support I've been given has been unwavering right the way through the season. I've always thankful of Dermot bringing me back, because that was such a brave decision from him and the board to take me back, knowing that maybe it wasn't going to be universally acclaimed, bringing me back no matter how successful I'd been. But they had the foresight and they had the acumen to be able to convince me to come back, and I'm so glad that I did do. You then have to deal with those situations like you say, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I wouldn't change it, because it makes me a better coach and a better manager, having to go through what I have gone through this season, and I know that we'll be back bigger and stronger for next season.
Does it make it sweeter, Brendan, when you say the challenges that you didn't know it would be? One of two things surprise you. Does it make it sweeter when you come out on top?
No, I suppose it's satisfying, is what you would say. I feel very satisfied in the work that we've been able to do. Surprising a little bit that so many people didn't see what was happening around the team. That was the biggest surprise for me, and especially having been here before, knowing how my teams operate, knowing how they play, knowing how they attack, knowing how that is always the intention. It's not full out attack. I tend to think my teams, if you think of a top boxer isn't throwing punches all the time. He has to put his guard up every now and then. So, and I think my teams are reflective of that. They attack, they're aggressive, they score goals, we try to defend well. And clearly there was a reason and a purpose as to why it maybe wasn't functioning quite the same. It certainly wasn't that I'd lost the hunger or was going through the motions or hadn't the stomach for the fight, is what some people said, and that's clearly people who don't know me. So it's been very satisfying, but it's all about creating a habit, and the players have been brilliant in creating those habits, and eventually we get our reward.
You mentioned Dermot Desmond. Is that the conversations you have after you achieve what you did on Wednesday? You speak to him. Does that help as well, that you've got that close relationship? You can maybe plan ahead for the future as well together when you're. That's always the case. We had a really positive board meeting this morning. So we're planning and looking forward, and that's always the case.
How excited are you, Brendan, I know you've got to savour the moment just now, but for next season, given the starting point will be so much better than what you had when you came in last summer?
Yeah, we're back to zero. Hopefully, but it's not been easy for everyone, not just me. I think there's, as I said, there was probably a surreal feeling around it all, but I think as we've gone along and you build that trust again, and we stay aggressive, and then that's when we're at our best. So, but we've still work to do this season. We've got 2 games. We want to finish well tomorrow in front of our supporters and finish off. We can finish off with 93 points and add to our goal tally for what has been a disastrous storyline created. Then it's some benchmark that we've set, and then we have a cup final, which I'm so excited about.
One of the points, Brendan, is actually
compares really well to previous seasons. I think your second season you won up to 82. So does that give you a bit of satisfaction?
Disaster.
One of the things about this client was the January window, and you sat here and you said to us you'd like the club to be a wee bit breather in the future. Do you think that's something that you're on the same page with them?
I'm pretty sure it will be the case, but it's not for now. We'll have all summer to talk about transfers and everything else. We're very clear on what it is we need to do to improve. The club work in a way, and we will work in a way that allows this club to be sustainable. But we also want to progress on the field, and that's something that we're all be aligned with.
Brendan, it's Joe Hart's final game at Celtic Park tomorrow. Can you just give us an insight into how big he's been for you and Stephen in terms of his career as well?
He's been a remarkable player throughout his career. 75 caps for England and the various other clubs and honours that he's won. I was really looking forward to coming in and working with Joe. I know when he came here a few years back, or nearly 3 years now, that I felt that it would have been a great move for him because he hadn't been playing so much, and probably the career was maybe not moving how he would have wanted to, or certainly getting towards the end. But to come here, he's been reinvigorated, and he's just such a great guy. And, for 37 years of age, he comes in every day and to try and impress and let people judge him like it's his first ever day. Been a real leader in the changing room with Callum. Callum's been absolutely incredible as a captain, but you need people alongside you as well to drive the messages through, and Joe has been very strong in that. So he'll be sorely missed. Because, as I said, he's a good guy, and I know after when he finishes, he'll look back in this spell and he'll only see it as been a huge positive for him. So he's loved and adored by the supporters. They see he's a genuine guy who's given his all to Celtic, and let's hope in these next couple of games we can finish off his story and he can go off into the sunset a successful and a legendary Celt.
Have you been tempted to try and talk about his decision yet? Have you been tempted to try and talk about the decision? His form in the last 6 months has been phenomenal. Have you been trying to shoot his ear and get to change his mind?
No, I think it's the time. I've had this before. I had this with Jamie Carragher. Jamie was my best centre half at 35 years of age, and when he was in the team, he was so good. He gave the team what it lacked. In my first season there, when I brought him into the team, and it was a wee bit of a similar thing. There was two other centre halves playing in front of him. He was towards the end of his career and was seeing out his last year. But I seen Cara in training every day, and then I could see the qualities he had. So when I put him in, he made the team better. But by the end, he was ready. He was going into his role in Sky, and he finished off on a real high. And Joe's exactly the same. He'll go on, he'll have a successful career outside of what he's doing, but he's finishing it in the way that you would want to as a player, going out strong, going out a winner.
You mentioned Joe and Callum in the dressing room. How do you keep the hunger within the squad and the rest of the players season upon season?
Well, that's clearly the job of ourselves. As a manager and coaches to drive that, but it's also something that's ingrained in this football club. You arrive into here, you get to understand very quickly the demands, the expectations, the history of this club, and the history that you've had on wherever you've been before doesn't matter when you come to here. You got to come in here and perform. But you have to come in here and perform with a humility. This is a club that it demands that you obviously play with expectation, with pressure, but you have to have that humility to work hard every day. And that's a habit, like I've said earlier, that's been set, and something that you have to come into and embrace that. if you want to become a winner. So so that doesn't change. You only need to look at the record of this football club over the last couple of decades, and in particular in this last decade, that whatever coach, whatever managers in here, that installation of belief and demand is within this squad, and something that will continue.
You joked on Wednesday night about the fans thought they'd forgotten your name when you were enjoying the songs. James Forrest doesn't have a dedicated song. What more does he have to do Celtic to get one from the fans?
Well, he's got to beat Billy McNeil's record, and if he does that, then he might get something. Well, I'm surprised at that, because there's clever guys, those boys in the stands, that can make up the words, and I'm surprised that they haven't been able to get something for Jamesy, but I'm pretty sure that they will. He certainly deserves it. And now, what a player! Been absolutely magnificent for us.
He's 3 medals away from being the most decorated Celt now. You're not looking too far ahead, but that is remarkable.
Yeah, it really is, and like I say, the likes of him and Callum, there's such stalwarts for this club and everything that it represents. You know, do your talking on the pitch, class acts off the pitch, come in every day prepared, work hard, be real ambassadors for the club, and Jamesy's been that. And looking back from when I first came here in 2016, to think that he was, maybe on the way out, but outstanding in that period. I come into here, he's maybe not played so much, so younger guys are coming in to take his place, and so you got to give them a chance. But then you quickly come to the conclusion that he's our best winger. Okay, he might not be able to do some of the things that he could have done 6-7 years ago, but there's a lot that he can do, and you've seen that now in this last period, and he's been one of the real catalysts for this team. And those experienced players, all of them, James, Joe, Callum, they've really took the games by the scruff of the neck and been absolutely brilliant, and he's clearly obviously a part of that.
Is there a standout moment you look back on in this season, Brendan, at all? A moment that you'll always look back on in years to come? Someone mentions this season. Is there a moment that will stick with you?
Oh, there's been loads. Loads. No. Well, the highlight was the final whistle the other night, being a champion and again, and seeing the joy that it has given so many people. It just gives a real hunger and motivation for the next trophy. So that was the highlight, for sure.
Can I just ask you, obviously they're having a vote on VAR down south in the future of that. Would you like to see the clubs up here getting a say in that, or would you prefer, obviously Willie's coming into his job now, would you like to see him get a chance to improve the process?
Yeah, and I think it is that. I think that, listen, Willie's got fantastic experience, so he's going to come into the role having worked it and been live in the situations with it. I've always said it, VAR isn't it's not the VAR, it's the problem, it's the implementation of it. So, but I think having been up here now a season and having worked in the Premier League where it has been up and running for a while now, I just think up here just somehow need to find a way to, with the greatest respect, to find professional referees to help in the education of the referees then that are here, and obviously that then all needs funding. So how can it be funded? Because the guys get a bit of stick up here, like all referees do and officials do, but the guys, in fairness to them, they're not full time, and that's not their fault. If they're amateur referees that are doing their best in a professional game where there's high stakes, and so for me, if there's a way in which there could be more funding putting in to support and develop and help these referees, then that would be absolutely great, and that would aid, obviously, hopefully, the VAR. So yeah, but it's always for open for discussion, and obviously the clubs along with officials. I think that's important that you have that dialogue.
I just asked Brendan, it could be a double celebration this weekend, the women's team as well, and a good place to maybe clinch the title as well. Just a word on Elaine and what she's done and how big of an achievement that would be, considering, you know, how competitive that women's league.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to go to the game on Sunday, so they've done really, really well, you know, and she's obviously come into the role, and I'm so pleased for her. She's clearly done a great job working with the players. She demands a lot from them. She demands from the staff, and she again is looking to set a really high bar. So I'm hopeful and praying that they can get over the line. So hopefully Sunday can be a great day for them as well.